I'm recording from two different angles. So there's a camera from out of frame filming me talking to the laptop right now. Then there's the recorder on the computer, and all this is going to be put into a series that's going to be made into installments, basically exploring the black gay male, just to show how broad that community is, because I feel like it's underrepresented in so many different ways when we're so powerful. We dominate so many stations in life. Whether it's professional or fashion or entertainment, like we are in deep into those different communities, and our community is not really that celebrated. It's almost kept quiet and hush hushed. Especially being gay and being black within the black community is not really embraced. So I want to bring light to that. You are definitely making waves now. You have your own consulting firm, the Dot and Haley Group.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
your own T-shirt line. Like you are really like making some big moves out here. So how does a little boy from New Orleans, Louisiana, go from this major boss?
Uh, that's I don't know if I would describe myself that way yet.
You are. You
Well, I appreciate
are.
that. That's generous, but I appreciate that. I growing up in New Orleans and being the grandson of civil rights workers and leaders from New Orleans, and feeling a responsibility, growing up feeling a responsibility and some accountability to give something back to the world. And so, I went to school thinking that I wanted to be involved in politics, become Speaker of the House and help influence legislation and policy. And so I went to school and got a degree in political science and, went to work in politics directly after graduating from Xavier, where I actually finished, and went to work in the Texas House of Representatives in Austin. And very quickly, and what's an interesting thing about that experience is that it taught me, one, that I didn't want to work in politics full time. I had a cluster cluster is an interesting word to describe this set of experiences. They had their ups and downs, and so I um, I got out of politics and went into education. I taught middle school for a year in Atlanta. After, and I can't kind of, there's no way to kind of gloss over this few years of my life after Katrina, where I went into a severe depression and became addicted to drugs, and had a probably 2.5 year, 3 year bout with ecstasy, where I was completely depressed and completely codependent. And once I got myself, or not just got myself, once, with the help of God, my family, and my, part of it ultimately is you not giving up on yourself. Was able to kind of pull myself out of that and clean myself up and become start the road to recovery. And at the end of 2008, I moved to DC. So I'm working for College Summit. College Summit actually is what got me onto Facebook, and my husband got me on the Twitter. Over time, the following kind of built. People started requesting to be friends because their friends were telling them about, my commentary on Scandal, or what I was saying about this, or whatever, was sharing this post or this quote or what have you. Met up with a friend of mine from college named Courtney. And while we're at lunch, she's asking me for social media help because she had been working on the side selling apparel, selling African apparel. And she wanted my help building her social media presence. And she knew that I'd been doing social media work and knew that, I had my own social media kind of thing happening. And as an aside, as we were talking, she says, you know, if you put your Blairisms on shirts, people would buy them. And I said, and, you know, went home and didn't start right away, you know, kind of sat on it, even just for a few weeks, sat on it. But right before Christmas, something said to me, we need to launch the day after Christmas. We need you know, my husband would, he's come in now, actually, he would tell you that, these bright ideas that I have, like that I wake up and I'm like, yes, it's this. We got to do this, and we got to do it on this day, and whatever. And he's always like, wait, okay. And so I'm like, we got to do the day after Christmas. So he and I sit down and talk about, or think about what designs we should do, like what shirts we should put out. And he gets on a website that you can mock up and do designs. And he does the first 6 designs. And we do screenshots of the first 6 designs on the little, you know, mock-up guy, on the little mock-up man, right? And I post them on Facebook as sneak peeks. And so because we were starting this with no capital, we started this as a pre-order. What we decided we were going to do was take the pre-orders in, print those shirts locally, ship them, get shipping supplies, mail supplies, ship them out ourselves, and then based on whatever what the market showed us, whatever the demand showed us, we would then decide whether or not we needed to create a method of supply. I was going to be happy if we sold 30, 40 shirts. When we sold 200 in a week, I was blown away.
How are you doing today? How's your day been?
The day is good. It's been a good day. You know, I work early, and my days can be crazy because sometimes I have to wake up at 4:30, and waking up at 4:30, it's like, you know, you have people waiting on you. You cannot be late. You gotta have a fresh playlist. You gotta have good attitude, and like everything has to be pop, pop, go, go, go. That's not the norm for most people. Most people go to work and they get mosey on in, and they gotta wait to get in a good mood. That's not how fitness works. You gotta be on. It's really on. There's no screwing around because it's a very competitive industry. So if you aren't on, there's somebody else that is.
Did you always want to be in the fitness realm? Like, how did that happen?
No way. I didn't know what I wanted to do. When I was younger, I just knew I liked to draw. That's like I loved art. Like I loved to create things and make things, and that's the only thing that I knew when I was young. As I got older, I consumed myself with masking certain things because I knew I was gay at the time. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, how can I hide and be a chameleon in this thing, this place called Louisiana, you know?
I had no idea you were from Louisiana.
I'm from Lafayette, Louisiana.
Oh, wow. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so interested to be able to talk to you, first of all. I'm so glad that I'm able to get to talk to you. Because I remember watching you on Workout New York, and I was obsessed from the very moment that you popped on screen.
Yeah,
and doing research for this interview, I couldn't find like that much on you. Like, you're an enigma. Like, so what was it like growing up in Louisiana? Like, how was that?
Growing up in Louisiana, My parents gave me everything. They were the best, and I didn't want anything in my childhood. So we had it all. There was like ditches and crawfish and turtles and frogs and I was into all of that. Like we have a huge yard with woods and fields, and we had cows and everything that you could imagine. It was the wild South. So I'm very thankful for my childhood and my upbringing. Where I was, I mean, you still have to run away from the Confederate flags and the KKK. You have to be worried about, like, I mean, especially South.
Yes. I'm from Tennessee. I feel you.
You
All
can't
types of ways. Yes, yes.
and the Confederate flags and the mentality.
Yeah.
Growing up black, like there was schools. My parents paid for my sister and I to go to this good school. And it was a Catholic school, and my mom had this big Catholic upbringing, and she was all into it, you know? But then when they would not treat you the same as they would treat others, and I was always the bad one. No, I was one of 4 black ones. So it was a little challenging in the beginning because that's not the way that I do things. It's not the way that I think. It's not the way that I was raised. Like, who cares? Who cares? If I like you, I like you. If I like you, I like you. And that's what should matter. But not when you're from the South.
Exactly.
Like, it is such a melting pot now.
Yes.
It was so different when I was growing up. So going there now, it still has that same mentality. Like, I can like you as a human being, but my mom and my grandfather beat this thing into me saying, "Oh, this person isn't the same as us." You know, so it was always difficult because I never saw color. And being in a place that's consumed with that, I'm like, that's not the way to think. So I was something different there. And then, that's just how it was. So I was just consumed with that. How do I handle the racism from that place? Also, not only am I black and in a white consumed, like I'm not equal place, but now I'm gay.
Yeah.
Poof! How am I gonna work this out? What am I gonna do now? Like how am I gonna handle this? So I did every sport I could. Like I did football, I did track, I did swim team, and because I just wanted to be, I also wanted to be accepted.
Yeah.
I wasn't passionate about it. I just did it because I had to do it.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Wow.
That's what it was.
And you turned this, in a sense, a defense mechanism into its own brand. Like, you're a force within the fitness industry.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. I think about it. I'm like, I deserve to be here, but it's weird to say. Like right now, Time Out Magazine rated CPX, which is my company, the Courtney Paul Experience, and as it's in the top 5. I'm number 4 out of all the new fitness methods in the city, and I'm like, I deserve to be here, but that's crazy. It's great, but sometimes I'm like, is this seriously, like, is this really happening? But I get it, because I put everything into it. Just like that football and that track and that swim team, I'm sorry, I got passion for this.
I was up late last night, so yeah.
Getting into some things. Mm-hmm.
Just doing some research, really. Like I'm thinking about going on a retreat I want to do one of those like far away retreats, like while I'm in this transition time of trying to figure out what's really next for me.
You've built
So
a whole underwear empire. You deserve it.
yeah.
So speaking of, how did Tasty Treasures start?
It started it actually started as a t-shirt company called American Punk Clothing. It came as an idea. I had an idea while I was at work one day. I was working at a company called Assurion, and the idea of a gay shirt just popped in my head. And what was on the shirt was cunt, which is often used in the community. And I just took it from there, and I ended up buying a heat press and a vinyl cutter so I could make shirts, and I just started making them at home and selling them, built my website, and went from there. I done that for a couple months, and then before I moved to it, I was in the process of getting ready to move to Atlanta, and I ended up shutting down the website during that phase. And at a point, I ended up working a job in Atlanta and wasn't feeling it, and ended up starting the t-shirt line back up. Got it back up, and it was really popping. I was using social media and just got people interested. It was great because I was able to use different models. You know, Atlanta's full of models and people wanting to get their faces out there and be seen. So I got to work with a lot of different people. And not even a year into it, I actually found the underwear manufacturer. And I was really wanting to put stuff on underwear as well, so it like came at the perfect time. And once I started selling underwear, it was just like over from there. Like that, the underwear just took over, and then it became Tasty Treasures. So that's how that journey started.
Awesome. So how did you even get into the whole idea of working for yourself? Because I feel like that's not like a new concept for you, like going into business for yourself. So how did that start?
That started in the 5th grade with a pack of pixie sticks. And my mom, we were at the Dollar General, and it's funny, it was like before school even started, I was just thinking, you know, I had the candy. I'm like, if I could sell these 100 pixie sticks for 10 cents each, I could come back and buy more pixie sticks and have money left over. So I ended up getting that pack of pixie sticks. I sold them all, and that's where the entrepreneurial journey really started for me, was in school selling candy.
So we've covered school. So growing up, how was that like at home?
I went through a phase with my parents that I was living with at the time, my dad and my stepmom. And that was at a point where I found online. I was online a lot, and I found BGC. And I had met this guy who was in Atlanta, and we were just talking on the phone or whatever. But I didn't know that this is home phones as well. I didn't know that long distance calls ran up the bill. Like, I didn't know that. So one day, they called me in the room, and they're like, the phone bill is $300 and something, and they're like, who have you been calling in Atlanta? So I told the truth, and that's when it pretty much came out, you know, to my stepmom, and I guess a reassurance for my dad, and yeah, and it ended up causing me and my stepmom to have some friction, and I ended up moving out basically.
I was outed in the 90s when it was it was really not cool. You know what I mean? For your parents to find out, you know, from a grown man that their high school son is gay.
How did you get outed? What was that like? Like who did that? Like
that's quite a story. So I had been communicating with a guy who had graduated from high school, the same high school that I did. And his boyfriend thought that we had something going on. And so his boyfriend, you know, took it upon himself to show up at my door, like got my address from, this is back in the caller ID days where caller ID would show your name and address when it was a house. So yeah, I mean, so he came to my door one night and told my mother he thought I was talking to his boyfriend. Look at your face. I hope that other camera is in your
That's
face.
just shady. That's messy. That's
I mean, here's the thing. The thing for me was that one, the guy who did it had actually tried to talk to me too. So
of
there was
course.
that. And two, these folks were in their these were elder, like, at the time
Hmm.
I was 15, 16. So these were grown folks. These were adults. So there was nothing going on, but my parents also didn't know that I had adult gay friends
Hmm.
either. And so it,
Wow.
but everything for a reason.
Exactly.
I don't think, I mean, looking back now, I mean, that, was over 20 years ago. So, it's just, I'm grateful because I have a younger brother. I have a sibling, my youngest sibling is gay. And he was able to come out at 15, and he was able to come out without any traction,
Yeah.
without any, without any of the weight of the kind of the things that I had to deal with in coming out at the same age, or at being outed nearly at the same age. And so I'm grateful to have experienced and gone through what I did, if for nothing else, that he didn't end up experiencing it, and that the journey that in the road that he ended up taking, and that I could be a part of, then his journey as well. So yeah, everything for a reason.
Exactly. That's
Everything for a reason.
now. I'm curious. I hope it doesn't come off as too nose. I'm not trying to dig too deep. But when you moved out, were you able to move in with mom? Were you able to do that?
Okay, so during the time I was in middle school, my mom was actually I was having a drug addiction. But yeah, when I did move out, I actually moved in with my aunt.
Okay.
My mom was just getting off drugs and stuff like that, so she was getting her life together at that time. But I ended up staying with family on my mom's side. But and that set me up for when I left his house, I could begin my entrepreneurial journey online. And so that was a great journey. It was hard at the time, but I definitely see its value now.
And growing up in the South and now in New York, I wonder in between those two times, have you ever had a standout experience, either professionally or personally, where you've gotten that pushback uh, by, just because of your sexuality, conflicting with your identity as being a black man?
Yes. A certain area of town, and this is New York City.
Wow.
This is New York. And even though this is New York City, where the two-headed dragons are alive and well, and the unicorns live, and they run through the forest, and the griffins are here, and it's all the craziness of New York. You still have your people who are not there yet, or who grew up different, and it's not okay to say certain things and be who you are, and just so I have gotten to places where, yeah, you gotta dial it back. I'm like, okay, you gotta dial it back from where? Like what do I have to dial back? And I get it. Like, to make it anywhere, you have to be a chameleon. You gotta fit in. You gotta, just like I did in high school. You gotta find your niche wherever that thing is, and make any negative into a positive.
You have pretty much a gold mine on your hand. Like everyone from babies to adults to Kenny Lattimore. I mean, Peter Guns. You have this huge hit on your hands, and I want to know now that you're here. Take me back to getting there. Was there any like roadblocks that you feel like you experienced being that you are this black gay man and being in this like world of so many things being put against you?
Um, I mean, here's the thing. What I would say more broadly, as a black man in America, right? I knew that growing locks was going to preclude my job opportunities. There were many times where I didn't even, like, I was told at hello after they realized it was me, "I'm sorry, I don't think you're right for the position," like without even an interview.
Wow.
And so, having experienced that in real life many times, in 2005, 2006, 2007. I never forget when I was working at a school in Atlanta. I was told by a black principal, when I cut my locks. This is my second set of locks, and I cut the first set off, and I started to grow my hair back. And I started to grow my hair back, and I had a principal tell me, "Don't you think it's time for a haircut?"
It's okay to be gay. Sometimes it's not, you can't be too gay, or it's just, you got to know where you are. And sometimes, like fitness, even though we have all the genetics and all the brains to run this industry, it's still a white driven industry. And I know that I've had to work harder because of my color than the next person who's just given things. Like, I've worked hard, and I've had to been on my game more than the next person just because I'm brown. So that's just a part of the world we live in. That you gotta know that, but keep on keeping on. Like, if I stopped now, what would that do? That's not going to do anything for me.
Exactly.
I'm going to keep on pushing. It's all I know to work a little bit harder than him just to get the same thing he got. That's just what it is.
Even now, like, I'm still reaching to be my full authentic self, I don't know if that ever really ends for anybody, because we can often get in positions to where we can blend in with people because that's the easy thing to do. But, being yourself, hey, you got to love yourself, self-love. If I could take you deep in the journey, I told you about the experience at my dad's house and how going online and, I had to find myself. Well, at the time, I was finding myself through what I saw online. The whole label of being a black gay man, I was only able to see through what I saw on BGC, what I saw in Yahoo groups, what I saw in a lot of porn. Because, it's based around a lot of sex.
Yeah.
And it's not, and it took me growing up and having experience, and really just over the last couple years, I'm realizing, okay, these labels don't define you to this box. And I don't know, now that I'm finding myself even more, I'm realizing, you could be a black gay man and not have to sell sex.
Yes.
I feel like that was so easy to go to because in our community, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it in our community. So even with my artwork, when I did start selling online, the stuff that I would post at first had nothing to do with sexuality. Like, they would be abstract pieces or just random flowers or something like that. None of that stuff sold. It wasn't until I started painting men with their dick out and ass out that I actually started selling. I was able to reach an audience of people, and that was people who looked like me and who were like me, black gay men, and that's where I kind of stuck, with the artwork, with the erotic stories, with the videos I sold, with the music I made, with the poetry I wrote, I even produced porn, at one point, and that was,
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I thought you knew. I thought everybody knew. But
You are an entrepreneur. Hey, get it how you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a lot of different things. I mean, can I ask you a question? How do you feel about sexuality in the black gay community?
I agree wholeheartedly, and that's why I'm just in all like this, like letting you talk, because it's so important to hear these things, because That's what this whole project is about, is that we are more than our sexuality. As gay men, especially as gay men of color, we're very diverse, we're very intelligent, we're very broad in our diversity of what we can do. You've proven that, from, you know, building a business to, you know, directing porn, whatever you want to do. Like we have the mind and we have the sense to do so much, and we do so much that no one really gets to see. I want to know, what would be your advice, or what would you say is the key to surviving and thriving as a Black gay man in America now? Because we are in the midst of the Black Lives Matter movement. Just last year we had the Pulse Orlando shooting. There's so much faced against us. What do you say is the key to surviving and thriving and succeeding?
Look for people who are like you. Find that drive. Go out in the world whenever it's your time and be whoever you are. Or whenever, as I said, whenever they sign that check, you need to be there. However, whatever it is that you need to do that, as long as it's healthy, figure it out.
Self-care. I think taking care of yourself is one, and understanding and loving yourself is the first step to survival. Reflection, and as a part of self-care, and understanding and learning who it is that you are, so that you can become and work to become a better person. And then regulate and relegate those things that don't serve that in or out of your life. So having an awareness and an understanding of who it is that you are and how it is that you fit into the world.
I would say focus on your potential, because that's what really matters. If you focus on the struggle, then you'll be caught up in the struggle. You really want to figure out who you are, what it is you want to do, what it is you want to stand for, and just stand by that. You don't have to fit into any group. You don't have to fit into any circle. If people can accept you for who you are, then you know that's not the group for you. And I promise you, if you move to a group that is for you, you're going to do 10 times better, because those are going to be the people that will push you to the next level.